Everyone, welcome to the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends. My name is Scott Schweitzer. I am the Clydesdale and I am your host. And I like to do fitness. So do my friends.
And I'm right here.
I know. Kat and I are together in the same place for the first time since we started this thing.
Yep.
So, yeah, it's been awesome getting to see you live in person. I was just telling Amy, I forgot how short Kat was.
I'm very short, yes. 5'1" and 3/4, maybe.
5'1" and 3/4.
Yeah, I say 5'2", but not really.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's pretty short.
you are way taller than her, Amy.
Okay, that's yeah.
It's the
Okay.
one difference that we have, Amy. Sorry.
Yeah, Amy's like at least 5'2.5".
Excuse me, I'm 5'3" and 3/4.
Yeah, so Scott and I have been running our asses off today, getting ready for the Masters Fitness Collective here in Fort Wayne. So we've been printing out score sheets and putting labels on stuff and running around collecting t-shirts, all kinds of fun stuff. Good times.
So the first thing we want to talk about tonight is the big town hall that happened with Eric Roza and Nicole Carroll. I found it fascinating, and I was really pleased to hear that this is going to be a quarterly thing.
Yeah.
My first general reaction is that Eric gets so excited that he over answers the question, but in being an old-time CrossFitter, we're used to not hearing anything at all, and he's actually oversharing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
But he also is aware of it, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just talked more than what you actually asked for, so I'll get back to your question. So I'm like, okay, keep talking.
When there's a couple times he even found himself like mid-sentence, like, well, I should probably hold off
Right, I'll wait
on that one till our next town hall.
Great.
But
I know that you're probably going to lead this conversation, but there was a lot that I really appreciated as far as his openness and willing to also be vulnerable at the same time.
Yeah.
I'll let you lead it.
Okay.
Go for it.
Well, so I was really impressed that, first of all, that they talked a lot about the diversity and what their plans were for the diversity, but also kind of owning his own stuff and owning his own challenges as far as diversity, and then how he has grown from that. And I think that that's just an important message because we all are growing together. All of us do, wherever we come from. And I think that it was nice to hear him say, I can't believe I said these things, but I did. And now I've learned from them and I'm going to do better. And so I want that to be the message that we share to our younger people and to our older people.
Yeah, that was refreshing for sure. I mean, he just showed like his human side, right? He's not just on a pedestal.
Yeah.
And all aspects of diversity too, not just race, not just religion, but all like accessibility, diversity, all of that. I thought that it was all encompassing and very, very cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I love that he's got dual citizenship. He just let off with that. Of course, like just all these little known facts that we're finding out about him are just super cool.
Yeah.
Well, and that was response to, don't forget that CrossFit is worldwide, not just a U.S. thing.
Right.
And
he's like, boom, I know. That was great.
And it was cool we all, known sort of about that, when the open's going to be, but to hear some of the thinking as far as the sanctional, where that's headed. I'm excited about that. I know I liked how he was open about how, hey, I've been checking in and seeing how people are feeling about things. And he was like, it's split,
Right.
It's split on that. And here's where we're leaning towards. So it still leaves option for discussion, but that there is a plan in progress.
Yeah, and did I hear that the games are most likely not going to be August, September next year, that are probably going to be closer to the end of the year?
I didn't hear necessarily end of the year. I heard push back. Yeah.
And he did say 100% the open February, March. So that is unequivocal.
Yeah.
And then they're not going to a regionals format. It is going to be a more strategic partnership with the sanctionals.
Well, he said that's where they're leaning. It wasn't.
Yeah, he said people were 50-50, right?
Yeah. It wasn't a line in the sand.
Yeah.
It probably just wasn't officially yet, we couldn't say. But
Right.
That's probably where they're headed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
So
Yeah.
the other part I liked is that he's putting together a diversity council. Yet the person he hired to run that doesn't starting until September.
Right.
So we won't know more about the players on that council until that person kind of gets in and gets their feet wet.
Yeah.
But that person directly reports to Eric, which he says will help hold him accountable.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And did I hear him mention a board of directors?
Yes,
Is that,
you did.
I was unpacking at the time,
Yep.
but yeah.
You did.
And he also mentioned, while we're talking about these types of things, an athlete council for no longer participating athletes from a diverse background to give input on safety and athlete issues during the competitions.
Yeah. I appreciate. I was super excited and glad. I mean, I think that this was the right call to have a town hall.
Right, and he was very open and honest, and very excited.
Yes.
Very excited. And what he wants for the growth of the sport is beyond even, I think, what we imagined. He's comparing it to tennis worldwide, soccer worldwide. We are the biggest participatory sport in the world. We should have a sport that grows with that size.
Yeah.
Here's the other piece of information that I think that he shared that I think is important for us to all embrace, and it was hard to kind of swallow at the first moment, but he's right, and I'm glad that he's not afraid to say it. But when he was talking about COVID, and he said, we need to all prepare that just because the calendar ends does not mean that COVID is ending. And I think that's something all we wish. We're like, oh, let's just get done with 2020 so we can move on. Yeah, the science is not saying that necessarily that's going to happen. And so I appreciate, as challenging it is for me to be an administrator of a business, that's a very real thing. And I need to not look at that with the wrong kind of lens. I need to look at that with the right lens and be prepared for that. So I appreciate that he's not afraid to say the hard things.
Right. And speaking of that, he talked about investing, if there was technology that would help gyms get open and stay open, that CrossFit would back it financially.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, the CrossFit Foundation, which was news to me in this thing as well, where they started with a seed money of $7 million to grow a program that reaches out to the underserved.
Yeah.
And it sounds bigger than a scholarship program, but more like a Boys and Girls Club, a place for kids to go, be mentored, have a safe place to work out. I was really excited about that.
Definitely.
So I think we hit all the topics.
Yeah.
So I want to hear about what's going on with you guys right now. What's the excitement there where you are?
We're just busy running around.
It's so busy.
It's a long few days.
When you volunteer for these things, there's so much that happens behind the scenes
It's
before it goes
a
off.
full-time job volunteering at these things, for sure.
Yeah.
So, tonight is just getting all the ducks in a row. And this is a group of people that have never run a competition before. So, it's cool that we have a group of volunteers that have done a lot of different things that can kind of pitch in and help out. But I'm excited. I think the Morning Chalk Up said it's the first time we will have a live in-person competition in 160 some days.
Yeah, we're ready. We need it. Can't wait.
Yeah.
And they are streaming it live on the Morning Chalk Up Facebook page.
Yeah, starting Friday. So tomorrow we're at a swimming pool and at a baseball stadium doing a snatch event. So I don't believe any of that will be televised.
Okay.
But Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the convention center will be.
So Kat, you should probably move closer to the mic when you're talking just a little bit because you're a little quiet. Yeah.
So I'll just strap my GoPro on tomorrow while I'm judging.
Good.
You guys can get a firsthand view right down
That would be really cool.
Live stream of that. Yeah. That's awesome.
Since I don't have a shirt that fits me, you won't even be able to see it if I just glue it to my. I look like Iron Man.
Oh, we'll get to. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Oh, jumping ahead.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're figuring things out. It'll be fun.
Good.
We'll have lots to talk about next week.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Yeah. Right now it's just at the calm before the storm. Excited to see my friends. We had dinner together tonight. It was really nice. Just hanging out, catching up.
Well, we have a 5 a.m. call time tomorrow morning, so we will be
Wow.
quickly departing and going to bed.
Yeah, so you guys will really appreciate me uploading this tonight.
Right. It's gonna be late night.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. All right, so at this point, Kat and I actually sat down with Josh Hicks yesterday.
I saw that was Patrick Clark, the crazy
Patrick Clark, the master bandit.
He's stalking us.
So we sat down with Josh Hicks, one of the medical leads for the CrossFit Games and several regionals in Wadapalooza. And he kind of talks about some of the medical protocols that they go through just on a normal time of stuff.
Year. Yeah.
And then now you've got COVID and all that has to be amped up. So let's flip over to that interview with Josh. And when that's done, we'll come back to you. So we're excited to welcome in Josh Hicks. How you doing, Josh?
I'm good. How are you, Scott?
Great. A long day on the ambulance, I heard.
Very, very, very long day.
Yeah.
Been
Thank you
pretty
for
much a
doing
month
all
of
that
both.
for us, though. You know, out there on the roads during all this that's going on with COVID. We appreciate all that you do.
Had another day at the office.
Yeah. Where are you, Josh?
Johnson City, Tennessee, Upper East Corner. If anybody's familiar with the shape of Tennessee, I'm 20 minutes from North Carolina and 25 minutes from Virginia.
Got it.
And what do you do with the fire department and the ambulance?
Well, actually, I'm in a unique service right now. We're not associated with the fire department. We work with our local fire department, but we're a standalone EMS service. We're also one of the only ones that handles rescue. So that's high angle, swift water rescue, slope evac, vehicle extrication. We do all the crash trucks and all that. But then I also work with the Johnson City Police Department. I'm on the SWAT team. So I do a lot of that stuff too.
Okay. That's a good mix.
Yeah, you bet. I've done about every aspect of EMS you could imagine. I started out as an EMT, went on to the crash truck, and as I have found out with most of us that have been involved with CrossFit on a logistical standpoint, we just can't leave well enough alone, and we always just want to keep climbing that ladder higher. So I went from EMT and rescue tech to paramedic. I did that for a while, about 8 years, and I left the ground ambulance and became a flight medic in critical care. Worked on the helicopter for about a year and a half, and then I came back to the ground because the only thing left for me to do was tactical medicine, and so that's how I got onto the SWAT team, and here I am.
That is awesome.
I feel safer just talking to you. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
So where you and I met was volunteering at different CrossFit events, especially in that Central Regional. You were the medical lead for that team every time that we would be at the Central Regional. So when did you start volunteering with CrossFit?
Let's see. It was 2015 was my first year. Just opened an affiliate. I have since. That's not the Rona. I'm good. I had opened an affiliate. I've since sold the affiliate just due to some time constraints with SWAT and training and all the other stuff that I was doing. And I was setting up my gym, and I just saw on the website, click this button to volunteer. I thought it would be fun. So I clicked the volunteer and didn't think much about it that I would get anything, but I also didn't reach out for any other options. So as anybody that might have volunteered, or as you guys know, you usually have 3 to 4 options. You can click volunteer, judge, or athlete relations. And I would be a terrible poker player because I went all in, medical. And figured I had nothing to lose. I don't know if that worked to my advantage or if it was just that this guy's crazy. Maybe he's just not good at anything else. So they chose me. I flew out to California. I just remember in that first event telling myself that I loved it and I wanted to be a bigger part of it. And the only thing I told myself is, you have to stick out. You have to make an impression. And I was hoping that that impression would be a good one. It appears that it was. So I moved up fairly quick at the 2015 games. I started on the field as just a regular medic, and within a day, I got moved up to a floor lead, and I was working with some other people there, had radio contact. And then when I finished, I'd gotten home. I think I'd been home about probably 3 weeks from the 2015 games, and I got a call from Owen, who is he's the real talent collector for the medical team. He reached out to me. He's since become probably one of my best friends, and he is the medical team coordinator for all of regionals and all of the CrossFit games, period. He is my boss when it comes to CrossFit, and or the games, I should say. And he had reached out to me and asked me if I would be interested in having a bigger role in the 2016 season. And of course, I said yes. And that's when I was offered the team lead position. Had a few voice or phone call interviews, and I got that position, and I held it. 2016, I had regionals in Ohio, and I believe that is where you and I met, Scott.
That is correct.
Yep, 2016 in Ohio. I did an open announcement with Josh Bunch that year, medical standby. It was me and two of my other team leads, or team members, I should say. They are team leads for me now, but I can get into that a little later with the structure. But I did that, and then I did regionals that year, and I did the games, and then I did the Canadian Invitational. And then the next year, I did another open announcement. I did regionals that year, moved to Nashville. So I did Nashville, and I did Madrid, Spain. And then I came home and I did the games. Was not able to make it to the Invitational that year due to some training with work. Just didn't happen. And then the next year I did all of the above with Spain and Nashville, and I did also Berlin. Went from there to the games, finished that. And that following year, I reached out to Wodapalooza. Matt O'Keefe was a pretty good contact for that. And I brought the structure for the CrossFit games that we use there with me to Wodapalooza, and it was a huge success. It's worked very, very well for us. And that event is something that just kind of shines in my mind as one of my defining moments as a lead. But it's, I keep saying lead, and I know that people bring up that I'm a team lead for this, but I just laid out the structure. My team is a full team of leaders, so I have very easy time delegating authority. We have very, very, very structured apparatus that we follow through. There's a hierarchy of how people work, and everybody knows their position, and we move in and flow very, very easily. But I've done Wodapalooza. I was supposed to have West Coast Classic this year as well, but as you know, COVID's kind of stepped in with all of that. But I have also been the team lead for the Rogue Invitational, which I will continue to do. I had the Mayhem Madness event, but all of these events this year were canceled for Corona. So this year's kind of been on a shuffle. But yeah, that's pretty much my story in a nutshell.
And if people get to know you at all behind the scenes, your team is very close knit.
Yes, very much so. Actually, as a matter of fact, we are renting a cabin because we haven't seen each other in months. So we're renting a cabin to just have a weekend together.
Yeah, Kat and I are judges now, and we keep in touch on Facebook and different ways but we keep saying we miss each other this year because we haven't had the opportunities to just get together and hang out.
Yeah, it amazes me just how much, if anybody ever wanted to be a part of something bigger, this was it for me. It's a huge network, and it just becomes a family, and it just blows your mind to how close you get to these people with this high stress environment that we all operate in,
Right. Well, Kat and I are actually getting together tomorrow. She's in Delaware right now. I'm in Columbus, but we're going to be at the Masters Fitness Collective in Fort Wayne.
Awesome.
So we're going to get to hang out with some of our judgy friends this weekend, and we're super excited about that. I know Kat's
Awesome.
excited to see me.
I cannot wait. I'm completely overpacked. I'm out of practice. I'm packing way too much, but yeah, I can't wait to hop on that plane tomorrow and see everybody. It's gonna be fun.
I'm glad to hear that somebody else overpacks just as bad as me.
Oh, I'm the worst. Yeah.
Josh, she's not checking any baggage. I
Ooh.
overpack so much when I go that I have to check a bag.
I am very, very bad. I had it down to a fine art when we were doing stuff. I would travel. I had an Oakley, like 32-liter backpacks, more like a rucksack. And it would be like 1/3 of the way packed. And then when, we get T-shirts and we trade T-shirts out, or you buy stuff at the events, and it would be packed so full. There would be socks sticking out the end of it and like shoestrings. And I'd have T-shirts shoved in water bottles, just whatever I could get to get it home.
Yeah, I can't guarantee that I'm not going to check my bag on the way home if it gets too heavy, because I'm a little person, so I can't hold way too much. We'll see.
I got you. I understand. I feel your pain. I also am a little person. I'm built kind of like a yard gnome, but
Yeah, there you go. I like Fireplug myself. That's kind of my.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Josh is like a honey badger, man. He's small, but he gets after it.
My mom always used to say I'm like a chicken gristle. I'm small, but I'm tough.
Okay. It's another one.
I'd never heard that one.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have all this experience, right? And you've worked the game several years. And this year, as you've indicated, has been really, really kind of out of the ordinary with COVID. But CrossFit is pushing through to hold an event called the CrossFit Games sometime in October. And I know you were a part of a call this weekend to talk about kind of some safety procedures that they want to put in place to make sure the athletes and the volunteers that are there stay safe.
Yeah, so I feel like the safety protocols that are going on right now are they're what most of us health professionals would call universal precautions, but it extends far beyond that. I can't go into a whole lot of detail about some of the stuff, as a lot of the discussions are still yet to be had in terms of us coming down, or the information coming down to us. Because you got to bear in mind, we have a huge team last year going down to a handful now, which we're hoping everything will go back to it will go back to its original when we can kind of survive this whole thing. But one thing that has always been on the forefront with CrossFit has been, athlete and volunteer safety. The medical team handles all of your decon procedures, which are amplified due to this. And, we did a lot of that with Wodapalooza, as Wodapalooza happened at the very cusp of this whole pandemic starting. So there was a lot of change on the fly there. And I can speak a lot more about the shifts and the changing on the front with that, as I was the team lead when all that started happening. And the shifts that we had there, all the way down to doing away with water stations and having to adapt different ways for people to access food so that there was no cross-contamination. Normally we're concerned with body substance isolation. Most of your EMS and medical professionals are going to go pretty standard with body substance isolation, and that can be anything. That can be spit, vomit, that can be urine and blood. I mean, just anything. Yeah, that's body substance. And I'm usually, whenever I work these events, I go over, I talk to the equipment crew. My buddy Patrick Brown, he's worked quite a few events with me, and he'll frequently bring me over with the teams to kind of give them a rundown on body substance isolation. And basically, I end every time we speak to these teams, I kind of go through our procedures for decon, for getting gross contaminants off of the equipment and ready for the next heat in a timely fashion. And all of them by saying, if it's warm, wet, and not yours, don't touch it. You reach out to us. We will handle that. We are the professionals. We do it on a day-to-day basis at work, so we handle it there. CrossFit's been very big on keeping that equipment clean, to the point of removing equipment from the field in a very fast manner, replacing it with new equipment while we do heavy decon in the back. So all the equipment's there, everything, every standard that we hold true on an ambulance or in an ER is utilized by CrossFit. You know, they usually make sure that there's excess equipment brought just for that gross decon, because you never know, things happen. I mean, this level of competition is pretty high, so the stakes are pretty high and people push a little harder. Luckily now we've got professional athletes that take care of themselves, and they know limits and they know just how far they can push. And, you know, some of them are willing to go that extra step, but we're there for them if they manage to injure themselves or cause an incident like that.
Do you know, is CrossFit looking at doing a bubble?
Bubble in terms of
trying to keep everybody, like making sure that they are COVID free coming into the games, and then kind of keeping them away from everybody else and kind of this bubble closed until the end of the games?
I think that most travel restrictions will cover the majority of those issues. As far as I know, I've not been briefed on any of that heavy stuff yet. I would imagine, though, that given the situation, you're probably not going to be traveling with that level of infection. However, I would imagine that all precautions for that will be covered. And, you know, right now our body substance isolation and our social distancing protocols will be followed. We're going to have, you know, our masks. We're going to have all of that stuff separated out and people kept away so that there's not any. That's the entire purpose behind the approach to the 5 and 5. You know, it kind of keeps that down, and it allows us. I feel like it was a phenomenal way to adapt and overcome. You know, it gives us the opportunity to watch this high level competition without the risk to the athletes and the staff as well. You know, as the staff, we're in pretty close proximity to these people. So it would be fairly easy for a crowd, if you could imagine. You know, unfortunately, COVID runs pretty heavy through nursing homes and close knit, you know, where people are kept in tight quarters together. You could imagine how it would move through the tennis stadium, or one of those tight areas where people are elbow to elbow and breathing on each other and yelling. So it's been, I think all the precautions that are taken are just above and beyond what most people would even think. As we all know, as well as programming for fitness, Dave is pretty good at finding holes in everybody's game and making sure that everything is covered. He's very meticulous. So that extends logistically speaking as well. So and then Owen he's very well versed in the adaptive process to these fronts. You know, we have to change on the fly, and one of the things that he has always taught us, always pressed for us to do, is his motto of Semper Gumby, always flexible. So we like to say, you know, the med team can step in and help cover for any other team, but not just anybody can step in for the med team. So we want to operate as a part of a larger team. You know, it's not just us. So I think stepping into this game season is an adaptive process for everybody. Is not only the changing front of CrossFit, but also the changing front of COVID in general.
Yeah. Do you think there's going to be more too of like a 24/7 type medical coverage, as opposed to like when the event's over for the day? Like, are the athletes just going to sort of disperse, or is there going to be sort of a process for like where they stay and who they're with and all that kind of stuff? And will you guys have sort of some kind of control or oversight into like what goes on, you know, before and after?
I'm not real sure on that. Historically speaking, once the day is over, the athletes are pretty much, they can reach out to us, and they have in the past, and we're there for them. I mean, if an athlete were to call for medical and it would be 2 a.m. and it would be something that we could provide for them, we would absolutely reach out and do that. You know, as a med team for the games itself, we're pretty advanced, but we are still limited as to what we can provide. You know, obviously, if somebody were to start showing symptoms or get incredibly ill incredibly quick, that would overextend what we would be able to provide, and that would be something that they would have to go to a facility for. That being said, we're always available. I'm just uncertain as to where all the athletes are staying, as we also don't know what athletes are going to make it to those top 5 positions. So,
Right.
you know, that might change it a little bit too. And we also don't know the global standing as to where, you know, we're going to be with COVID in, you know, September moving into October. You know, it could very much change by then.
Right.
As
Have they made arrangements about where you guys are staying? Are you all together in one location, or is it just going to be sort of normal, like just figure out how to get here, where to stay, and we'll see you when the games start?
As far as I know, the arrangements are going to be made with CrossFit,
Okay.
but I don't have any definitive answers as to where that's going to be yet. In terms of Scott's question earlier about a bubble for the athletes, even if we were able to test that, that wouldn't be information that would be possible to let out, because we are still bound by HIPAA rules, which is privacy
Oh,
acts
sure.
and stuff like that. So that's going to bind everybody's hands. But, you know, as everybody has seen, CrossFit has taken this very seriously. They are trying to make sure that we can have an event that is not only world class, but also safe. And we can see that with moving from August or end of July 1st to August through to the end of August, then to September, then to October, and then adapting the entire process so that everybody is safe. I think that's been on the forefront of everybody's mind.
So I have one final question for you, Josh.
Yeah, man.
You know, Dave has said that they need to test the athletes on the way into the venue, just to make sure that everybody is COVID free. But when they get here, is your team able to do that, or are they gonna have to bring in nurse practitioners or somebody like that to administer those tests?
That'll probably be an outside source. Most of those tests have to be rapidly sent off and arranged through an ER or a hospital. I have received no information on that in terms of what we will be administering or what we will be checking. But I highly doubt that the med team would be doing that test. Although it is very possible, as we do have a pretty high level of members that are, you know, licensed heavy.
Well, you actually have physicians as a part of the med team, right?
Yes, physicians. Dr. Ray will be overseeing everything. He's kind of our medical director, and it's not just physicians and nurse practitioners and paramedics. I mean, the medical team for the CrossFit Games is the cream of the crop. It's the best that you can get in almost every aspect of medicine, all the way down to orthopedic surgeons. Sean Rocket, he's phenomenal. You know, at the games in the past, historically, we've been able to do imaging, which is, you know, that's reserved for pretty high level athletics. And CrossFit's pretty phenomenally taking care of the athletes, and, you know, the athlete safety, and just to protect the sanctity of the games themselves. So, you know, nurse practitioners, yes, RNs, paramedics, critical care, tactical paramedics, all the way down to specialty rescue EMTs that we use offsite for the ranch run. You know, I went to the ranch the last year that we were at the games, and that's how we chose our team. People that had wilderness rescue and stuff like that were accustomed to that. So the spectrum of licensure, the spectrum of talent that you have on the medical team is very broad and very, very developed.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for joining us, Josh. It was great insight into what the medical team does and how they keep the athletes safe. You've been a good friend since 2016 here in Columbus, and glad you could join us.
Yeah, man, I've appreciated it. I've really enjoyed myself.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Josh. We'll talk to you soon.
You too.
See
See
ya.
you guys.
So that was Josh Hicks, and we thank him so much for taking some time out and kind of explaining what they go through. And it's really cool that they have a very high level staff kind of behind all that to take care of the athletes and volunteers and all those people. So
Seems like a fun job.
if you like the sight of blood
Yeah, I love it.
and wet stuff on whatever,
Yeah,
what do you call
right.
it? If it's wet, leave it.
Ugh.
Ugh. So now we're going to get into our stupid questions, because even on the road, we can do some stupid questions. So the first one is, if you're going to build a burger, what toppings have to go on it to be the perfect burger for you? So Kat, start with you.
Okay, so we had burgers today. This is kind of why
We
we
did.
decided to do this one. I would say Swiss cheese. I'm gonna go weird here. So medium rare burger always. Swiss cheese,
Always.
mushrooms. I live very close to the capital of the mushroom capital of the world, Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. So shout out to Kennett Square. Sauteed onions, and a little bit of ketchup. That would be my perfect burger. And luckily where I live, they have them all over the place.
Amy Radowski.
So if I had to pick the perfect burger, first of all, I'm going to start with bison meat. All right, I like a bison burger a little bit better, but regardless of what kind of meat it is, it better be medium rare. Okay, it better be bleeding. I want to see some blood come out of that. I'm going to go, I'm with you on the sauteed onions and mushrooms. Totally there. But the cheese I'm going to choose is crumbled blue cheese.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah. Schweitzer, what about you?
That's it?
Yeah.
Blue
That's it.
cheese, nothing else?
Blue cheese, onion, and mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Oh, okay. All right. For me, I think if you're going to have a real burger, the bun has to be good.
Has to be
Right? It
toasted.
has to be toasted and
Okay.
brioche if you got it, right?
I'm with you on that. Yep.
Then I want the crumbled blue cheese too. You
That's
know?
good stuff.
I wasn't going to go that direction until you said that, and I remembered, damn, yep, blue cheese
That
is
is
it.
really good.
Yeah, so crumbled blue cheese for me. I like the spicy Louisiana seasoning with that, the black and blue,
Yeah, I could take that. Yeah.
the black and blue burger. And then I want a little bit of red onion,
Oh.
not sauteed, but like
Okay. I could
straight
get
up,
down with that too.
straight up red onion, a little lettuce, a little tomato.
I think I'm liking what you're putting down. I think what we're saying is what I like is a combination of what both of you are saying.
Yeah.
So like I like especially if it's a fresh garden tomato, like that has
Oh.
those good
There's
flavorful
nothing like a
tomatoes.
homegrown tomato.
The tomatoes on that Cobb salad today were really good. Did
They
you try
were.
those? They were
They were.
super sweet.
Yeah, the only thing I didn't eat from that was the black olives.
Yeah, I didn't. Who puts black olives on their Cobb salad?
No, you don't do that.
Yeah, I didn't eat those either.
Yeah.
I have had other burgers. Like I like going to burger joints that have like sort of random gourmet style burgers. I remember at the Granite Games last year, there was this bar right off the campus that had like a burger with like peanut butter and jelly on it, but it was like, like a gourmet jam and like a nut butter. No, like you think it's super weird, and it had bacon in it. It was delicious, really good. So I do like interesting burgers to try, but like the one that I said is my go-to.
So, Schweitzer, what I'm hearing is when Kat comes to visit us, we need to go to Thurman's.
Yeah.
And she should probably have the Therminator.
Yep.
Ooh, what is that?
So it is a storied burger.
Mm-hmm.
When Arnold was competing
Okay,
and he needed to get his calories in,
nice. I always
this is
get
a
my calories.
burger that was created for him.
1 pound
And
burger
1 pound. Yeah, it's
Ooh, okay.
massive.
and a pound of ham.
So they have a son of Terminator with the same stuff but smaller.
So
I just
anyway,
appreciate interesting combinations. That's all.
yeah.
So
we don't,
the
you don't
only-
have
the
to know
la-
that.
The last comment I'm going to make about burgers is that I can't stand bacon on my burger.
Yeah, I got bacon on my burger today, and I was surprised that you did not partake.
I know. So I love bacon and I love burgers, but bacon overpowers my burger, and I like the burger taste. And if I'm having a burger, that's what I want to taste.
so what I assimilate that to is somebody not liking chocolate and peanut butter together, where I think both of those things do belong together. I think bacon can and absolutely should belong on a burger.
Yeah, it makes it better.
Yeah, I agree.
Interesting. Okay.
And I am sure my friend Bacon is going to call me out on this one.
I hope he does, because Bacon is right. And so is Ken Hoffman, who we also call Ken Bacon.
Bacon.
Yeah.
All right, next one.
So next question is, what is your jam movement in CrossFit? And you get 2, because it's my show. You get 1 barbell and 1 other.
Okay.
I'm
Go
going to
ahead.
go hang clean. I love a
Of
hang.
course.
I love it. I love having bruises on my thighs and walking around and owning that. I do. I seriously do.
Did she did? She did. Okay.
What?
So you do like a high hang?
No, just, I mean, any kind of hang.
Okay.
Yeah. And then pull-ups. I love pull-ups. They're my favorite.
That's special. I'm starting to love pull-ups, but
Yeah.
not close to my favorite. Go ahead, Scott. What do you got?
So everybody knows, like, my jam barbell move is an overhead squat. I love putting heavy weight above my head and doing 30, 40 reps of it. I don't know, just love it. And then my other, I really went back and forth, but I think my other is, when I'm healthy, I love push-ups. Because a lot of people don't think, they would look at me and say, that guy can't do push-ups. But it's my jam, and I've beat a lot of people, and my push-ups are good. Like, they're not like the saggy,
They're not
snaky.
fake push-ups. They're not bro reps. They're real push-ups.
You're not like the Woody
Right.
Woodpecker
No,
push-ups.
nope, they are planked out, macked out, good push-ups.
Boom.
Okay, so I am power snatches all day.
Yep.
Hundreds. I can just
Yep.
bang those out from the ground. And then my body weight movement that I love to do is lateral bar hops. I am like a frigging bunny rabbit. I can do like 100 in a row, and I coach them a lot. And it's funny, I'll demonstrate them and people look at me like, oh, I didn't think you could do that. You know, like, I have kids that are athletes that can't bunny hop them. You know what I mean? Like, they have to like land and then sort of like catch themselves and then land. I can do a million of them. I would show you, but I'm tired. So yeah, give me power cleans and or power snatches and lateral bar hops.
All right, so this is the time of the week where we introduce who our guest is going to be Monday. Anybody want to take this? Anybody know who it is?
I don't know which one you're releasing, so.
So we are releasing 2015 Fittest Man on Earth, Ben Smith.
What?
And so this is the makeup interview that he promised me when my batteries ran out at Mayhem, and we got a 4-minute interview with Ben Smith. So Monday is the makeup interview. We have a full hour conversation with the 2015 Fittest Man on Earth.
So humble. So humble.
Love it.
Yeah.
So that's it. Tune in for that. It's a really good conversation. Goes in different directions than I think we thought. So there's a few surprises in there. But Amy's right, super humble, has bigger things in his life, and has a really unique focus. So now we're going to finish up with best thing I saw from the internet. And let's start with Amy.
Oh, you know what I'm going to add, but it was so good. So good.
Is this the picture you sent us?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, listen, it's not an episode on the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends if Amy doesn't bring up Con Porter. Am I right? I mean, really. Is Patrick nearby?
Patrick's dogs are running wild.
Okay. Well, what I loved was, I think it was one of his fans, but they did a Photoshop and they put Con's face on top of Thor's body. And so it's Khan as Thor. And I was like, you guys, I mean, it fits. It goes 100%. So
Perfect combination.
yeah, I'm picking one. And
Like
if you
peanut
come back
butter and
with two,
chocolate.
if you come back with two, I have another one. So I'm going with one.
Well, since you're the lead this week, since we're on the road, go for two.
Okay. All right. Number two. I have to be very careful with how I approach this one because it is sensitive. There's a new song out there by Cardi B, which is very inappropriate. Okay, but I'm all about women power, so I'm great for her for doing the song. Well, the part that I like is that the Leslie Jordan, who I follow, who is a comedian, has an Instagram video of him listening to the new Cardi B song, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I like the song." He's like, "What? What did you just say?" And then he was like, "Oh, I don't judge. Every trash can has its lid." But anyways, you need to see his reaction to it. So it's pretty funny.
Kat?
Am I up? Okay. So I had to write this down so I could remember. This is TikTok, of course. So my first one is I have a new TikTok with my dog, Jojo. Super cute. But second, there's an account. It's called bellyful.net. And it's a mom, bellyful.net. And she records her family. She has a son, a daughter, and a husband, and they all have clipboards. And they're following around the house. And she's like, I just want to show you, like, here's the roll of toilet paper, and this is where it goes. And they're like, oh, on the roll. Oh, I see. And then, she goes and she shows them how to roll up a bag of chips and put the little chip thing on it. This is how you do that. Oh. She has like 4 of them. They're perfect. I send them all to my kids too, by the way. Like I forward them on as a text message. They're like, yeah, Mom, we saw it. It's really funny. Haha. That's perfect.
It is really perfect.
So mine, I didn't get to watch a whole lot this week because it's been chaotically busy for me. So what I'm going to go with is a TikTok, and it's a guy. I wish I knew his username. He does song mixes of songs that shouldn't go together, but they do.
Wow, I like it.
And so it might be like he'll start with one song and then he'll add the second one. So like you're watching and all of a sudden he puts up Slipknot, like this heavy metal, and then he'll mix it with the theme from Drake and Josh.
But he makes it work.
Yeah. It is so awesome.
I love it.
The one I watched last night was, it started with Smash Mouth All-Star.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one?
Yep,
okay.
that one. And he mixed in Eminem's Lose Yourself.
Oh,
what doesn't go with Eminem? I mean, honestly.
Oh, speaking of music, did we find a karaoke bar? We were
We
driving
did find a
somewhere and we saw
karaoke bar
one.
Friday nights, 10 to 2.
It might be happening.
That's cool.
See. We're going to be exhausted tomorrow, but
Yeah.
whatever. We'll see. Oh, wait, tomorrow's only Thursday.
Right.
Oh, we might have time Friday.
We'll take the iPhone with us, get some video footage.
Please do. Make it a TikTok.
So this week it's a little bit of an abbreviated version of the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends. But hey, if you like what you hear, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Tell your friends to subscribe. Like that, hit the like button, comment. We love the comments.
Yes.
Michael Andrek and Jeff Bacon, you're killing us with the comments.
And Scott's mom.
And Scott. And
Cheers,
my mom.
Switzer. Cheers, Switzer.
Yeah. And so we love them. Keep them coming. And again, tell your friends, hang out with us. We're fun.
We are.
And we'll see you next time on the Clydesdale Fitness and Friends.
Bye.
See ya.